Welcome to our 2022-2023 Food Challenge Rules and Guidelines overview. Over the next few slides, we'll talk a little bit about what Food Challenge is, what practices look like, and then what a contest will look like. So as a reminder, all adult volunteers and youth need to be registered through 4-H Online in order to participate in our Food Challenge program. If they are not enrolled by October 23rd, when we have our first practice, they will not be able to participate in practice until they are enrolled members. This is just to make sure they are covered under our umbrella policy if anything were to happen at practices, on the way to practice, anything like that. Adults, if you are going to serve as the coach of your team, please also register as an adult volunteer in 4-H Online. This again also keeps y'all under our umbrella policy if anything were to happen at a practice, on your way to a contest, anything like that. So real fast, for those of you that did Food Challenge last year, we only have two major changes this year, one of which is there are new dimension maximums for your Food Challenge boxes, so please pay attention to that. If the box is on wheels, the height of the wheels is included in those dimensions. And then our second major change is a cost analysis is no longer required, nor will the kids receive a dollar amount for each item they're purchasing from the grocery store. So real fast, what are the basics of Food Challenge? What to know before you get started? So Food Challenge teams consist of 3 to 4 members within the same age division. So our age divisions are going to be juniors, which is 3rd through 5th grade, intermediates, which is 6th through 8th grade, and seniors, which is 9th through 12th grade. Those juniors and intermediates can intermingle. However, if you have an intermediate participating on a junior team, they will have to compete up against intermediate aged youth. They will not be able to compete down. So for example, if you had a team with 3 5th graders and a 6th grader, those 3 5th graders would be competing against the intermediates who were 6th through 8th grade. That is acceptable. We do allow that. However, just know when they become senior 4-Hers, those kids can only be 9th through 12th grade. We do not allow intermediates to compete up with the seniors. So with Food Challenge, they are given one key ingredient or a starter item that they then create a recipe or a dish off of based within 40 minutes. So for example, they might be given chicken and they might be in our main dish category. So they have to create a dish where chicken is the star of the dish, not just an added ingredient, but the star of the dish. And then they can purchase stuff from the grocery store. I say purchase. We're not using money this year. They will be receiving tokens. So depending on the contest, they might be able to grab, 5 additional items from the grocery store to help build this dish or recipe based off their key ingredient. So you might be trying to figure out, if you're new to Food Challenge, how do kids cook on site? So this list right here is our supply box list. These are the only items the kids are allowed to have in their box the day of the competition. So you'll see here there's a wide variety of things. For some of those more expensive items like the electric skillet or the burners, if you don't want to go out and purchase them, let me know. We might have some extras at the 4-H building that we might be able to loan to y'all for the Food Challenge season. And we will be going through this at our first practice on Sunday just to make sure that y'all have only the items that are allowed to be in this box. There were some removed, like the cookie sheet. So we'll just go through that on Sunday as well. So in Food Challenge, you are split up into different categories. You don't know these categories until the day of the contest. So that's part of the surprise that the kids get the day of the contest, and we'll talk a little bit about that later. So the 4 categories are appetizer, which is the small dish that is eaten prior to the main course. Your main dish, which is going to be the heaviest and heartiest and most substantial part of the meal. Your side dish, which are foods normally served along with the main dish, and then a healthy dessert, which is served at the end of the main dish. So throughout practices, we will practice all of these categories so the kids kind of get an understanding of what they are and what foods fit into these categories. So what are the parts of Food Challenge? Food Challenge has 2 main parts. There's a preparation part and a presentation part. So in the preparation, like I said, they have 40 minutes as a team to create a recipe, not a full meal. They are creating one recipe based off whatever their key ingredient is. So we're going to stick with chicken for the sake of keeping it the same throughout the presentation. So if they're given chicken, they're going to create a recipe based off that chicken. The chicken needs to be the star of the dish, not just an added ingredient into a dish where maybe something else is more of the star. They must plate 2 or more servings, and the teams determine the serving size. So again, sticking with that chicken, if you say 1 whole chicken breast is the serving, then you need to make sure to plate 2 chicken breasts to plate 2 or more servings. Teams should not create side dishes or multiple dishes, so this is where teamwork is key. As a team, make sure you get an idea in order and you stick with that idea unless something happens and that idea no longer works, but do not create multiple ideas on one dish or multiple dishes on one dish. Teams must clean up their prep area during the 40 minutes and also within that 40 minutes prepare their presentation that they will be giving to a panel of judges following the preparation stage. So this is judged, so they will be watching for food safety, teamwork, communication, all of those things, and it's based on 25 points. So continuing a little bit into preparation with a focus on the safety side. Gloves do not have to be worn the whole time, but there must always be a barrier between the kid and the food. So for example, if they're cutting up something, if they choose not to wear gloves because maybe you can't find gloves that fit those kids, especially our younger ones, it's really hard to find gloves that fit them and are safe for them. And so if they choose not to wear gloves, they do have to have something like tongs if they're holding something to cut it, spatulas if they're flipping something, anything like that. Hair restraints are required and must be worn during the preparation time. Hair restraints don't necessarily mean they have to be hairnets, but they can be hats, bandanas, chef hats, anything like that, anything that keeps the hair out of the face and out of the food. And then lastly, attire. Teams may wear coordinating clothing or aprons. Most of the time, our teams will wear matching aprons or they will wear chef coats or maybe just t-shirts that have like their team name on it, something like that. And then closed-toed shoes are a must. So your teams finish that 40-minute prep time where they put together their 5-minute presentation. So in their presentation, and this is something we will go over every single practice, they need to talk about my plate and their dietary guidelines, the nutrition of the dish, food prep steps, and then the food safety they followed, and then the serving size of the dish. So the serving size includes what they believe a serving is, as well as how many that dish would serve. Following the presentation is a questions and answers portion with the judges. So they get 3 minutes to ask questions, and the questions will not pertain to what you should have covered in your presentation or things you missed on the scorecard. So you got to make sure you get everything that's in the scorecard into that presentation so you have the chance at maximum points. Questions should and will pertain to general food and nutrition knowledge, what you learned, what you would have done different, anything like that. So for practices, what to expect at our practices. The things that you will bring with you each time. Each team will be sent a list of ingredients prior to the practices of items they will need to bring for us to practice with. Then they'll be put into our grocery store, minus whatever key ingredient I've decided for that practice. The reason we do it like this is to help us cut down on our cost. If we were purchasing ingredients for all 20 of our food challenge teams every single practice, we would definitely have to charge y'all to help offset that cost. So this is just our way of trying to not charge y'all and maybe have a chance to get rid of some stuff that's close to expiring in y'all's own pantry. And then you will always need to bring your supply box. So here are the current practices that I have scheduled as of right now. These practices are not required, but are a way for us to see progress of our teams. Obviously, with over 20 food challenge teams, I would love to be able to coach every single one of the teams. However, that just is not possible. So this is when we try to get some of our parents to serve as those coaches, and y'all are meeting with them outside of these practice times. The amount of practices we have will not be the amount of practices the team should have, but just enough practices for, again, myself and our FCH agent to see the progress that our teams are making and then be able to help however we can. If you practice outside of these times and would like me or Courtney, our FCH agent, to attend, please let me know. And then obviously if we are available, we will definitely try and make it there. So real fast, day of the contest, what to expect. So we will treat every practice we have as a contest. We will follow the format of a contest. That way when the kids go to a contest, they're not overwhelmed when they show up and not really know what to expect. So the day they show up to the contest, they're at their table. What they will receive is a brown bag with the following items. They'll have their key ingredient, a grocery list. There will be no cost, but portions on the grocery list, kind of like what you see here. That's just so the kids know everything that is available in our grocery store for them to grab to add to their key ingredient, and then what category they're in. So you can see here, the category was appetizer, the key ingredient was a baguette, and then they had, apples, bananas, bell peppers, all of these other things to choose from to add to their baguette. So real fast, important dates to remember. Do not miss these deadlines. As I've mentioned a handful of times, we are going to be strict on deadlines this year. For those of y'all who didn't get your team information done in time for our last deadline, you lucked out. We are extending that deadline to October 21st, mainly so y'all could listen to this recording and figure out if Food Challenge was really something that you wanted to give it a go. So you still have a few days to get that team information in, but after the October 21st deadline, if I have not received Food Challenge team information from y'all, I am assuming that y'all will not be competing in Food Challenge and y'all will not be receiving information about Food Challenge. Our next big date is going to be our Invitational Food Challenge contest that we host here in Tom Green County. We open it across to the state, but mainly it's for y'all to be able to go to an actual contest prior to our district and San Angelo Food Challenge. So our invitational contest will be held December 16th at the San Angelo Fairgrounds, and entries are due online on our county webpage by November 18th, and that cost will be $40 per team. And then our San Angelo Stock Show and our G7 Food Challenge contest are held in conjunction with each other, so they're not two separate contests. They are together, and then we pull our D7 results from the San Angelo Stock Show results. So that Food Challenge contest will happen January 25th. It will also happen out at the fairgrounds, and registration for that is due November 30th, and that will be done on our county webpage as we get closer, and that cost is $40 per team as well. So if you need more clarification, have any additional questions, please make sure to get in touch with me as soon as possible because we will be starting this up next Sunday or this coming Sunday. So if I don't hear from y'all, again, I'm going to assume that y'all are not doing Food Challenge this year. So please reach out to me as soon as possible. You can give us a call at 325-659-6522, send me an email, or even drop by the office and catch up with me then. So I hope to hear from y'all soon, and I hope to see y'all all on Sunday at our Food Challenge introduction and box go through.